Bună, eu sunt Cătălin și acum să acces împreună cu voi din nou la 10 moduri brutale să mori în cum să deschide dragonul, episodul 4. Dacă vă place, nu uitați să dați un like și să începem.
One, human demolition. This dragon is known as the Rumblehorn, one of the strongest dragons in this cinematic universe, capable of many things such as detecting natural disasters from a mile away, spitting devastating burning projectiles, and perhaps the most impressive feat of all, its devastating, demolishing, obliterating, and wrecking impacts. This one will be easy to explain. In this scene, we witness a Rumblehorn charge at this sea stack, hitting it at the base, knocking down this entire structure. Note that these can weigh thousands of tons. How can this thing do this? Well, if you pay close attention, the corporal build of this Rumblehorn very much resembles a real-life insect known as the rhinoceros beetle. Fun fact, these things are so strong that they can carry stuff that is 30, yes, 30 times their own weight. That is without sacrificing any speed. That's like you casually carrying a hippopotamus on your back. Now, migrating these attributes to this dragon, the results are magnified so much that this dragon can do stuff like this.
Wow.
Now, what would happen if you took the place of this sea stack? Well, the results wouldn't look good. Getting hit at such speeds and with this part of the Rumblehorn's head means that this thin blade would most definitely crush your body along this area. It wouldn't really cut, but rather separate your body along this axis, sending your body parts literally everywhere. Lucky for you, you probably won't feel it, but your friends would. Number 2. Death Shower. Up next on this list is a dragon popularly known for its strange appearance, eccentric diet, and weird abilities. The Gronkle. This boulder-class dragon feeds on stones and boulders. Its digestive system is so corrosive and hot that it allows it to melt these into molten rock. Additionally, this animal's stocky build and heavy tail turns this entire animal into a weapon. The funny thing is that this animal is so laid back sometimes that it can even kill you while it's sleeping. Yeah, these things tend to fall asleep while they're flying, only to wake up once they crash against something. Meaning that if you amassed enough bad karma, one day some random Gronkle could land on top of you, crushing you under its tremendous weight. That, or you can just piss off any one of these and it will crush the back of your skull using its heavy club. This would crush your cranium and turn your head into a soft, mushy body part. The skin and muscle around your skull is the only thing keeping this thing together. Another horrifying way to go would be in the way of this animal's lava blast. If this lava lands on you, it might actually kill you from the impact if it lands on your head. Anything else and your bones are broken. Keep in mind that these are still rocks, just in a molten state, meaning that this impact will not only crush, but also burn through your flesh while you are still alive. The fat content in your body will mean that you will catch on fire and stay burning. Number 3, Vitreous Fatality. Word of the day. This basically means anything related to glass. Add the word fatality to it and you have a pretty painful situation. And yes, this one is going to hurt the test subject a lot. There is a dragon that lurks the subterranean caves in this universe, known for stashing shiny stuff underground, and also killing things underground. This is the Sandbuster. These medium-sized dragons are known for eating sand and storing it inside for later use as ammunition. That's right, once sand leaves this animal's orifice, this is also superheated. So much that once it lands onto an object, it will solidify. Now, let's try this on someone. This unlucky fella will now take superheated sand to the face. A single particle would have partially solidified at around this point, piercing the body, burning a path through the victim's flesh. It will stay inside, burning and cooking the victim from the inside out. That's just one out of thousands of small particles that will hit the front part of your body. The remaining incoming particles will solidify, leaving quite a spectacular aftermath. Before this test subject died, it had to endure around 5 or so seconds of excruciating pain before these particles drilled through its skull and knocked it unconscious. Number 4, Deadly Hypnosis. Today, we'll try a little experiment with this test subject. The one conducting this experiment will be this thing, known as a change wing. We'll be testing out two abilities, one which is being used right now, hypnosis. Yeah, these things are capable of some wild stuff. Their pupils will dilate into slits and then twirl around, capturing the attention of this test subject, hypnotizing them. And now it seems like he's under the change wing's control. Now for phase 2. It's known that these creatures can spit acid so corrosive that it can even burn through trees in a very short amount of time. This ability to burn through organic material means the human body doesn't stand a chance. If this test subject is told to walk into this puddle of acid, then he will quickly disintegrate. Feet first, burning through the legs, torso, and finally up to the head. Another rather funny thing this thing could technically do is whip a test subject. Because these things have one of the most flexible tails out of any dragon, this thing, along with its buddies, could inflict a flogging sesh on this test subject, eventually cutting him so much that the blood lost will cause him to fall unconscious after a long time. Number 5, Fright Night. Imagine knowing you're going to get murked without being able to do anything about it. Well, this is what happens if you're preyed upon by this animal, the Frightmare. Undeniably, this is a rather pleasant-looking dragon. However, things change when it locks onto you. This animal spits out this strange neurotoxic mist with paralyzing properties. This chemical is absorbed by the skin, finding its way into the nervous system, spreading throughout your body, causing disruptions that will block any motor signals from your brain to your arms and legs. You're stuck for a brief period of time and you can't move. The terrifying sight of this dragon coming towards you will be the last thing you see. If you get fired on by green balls of acid, or you can proceed to get chewed by this animal's large array of sharp teeth. Number 6, Fatal Inclusion.
What the hell is this crap? I can't move. Get me out of here, damn it. I want to die. Is this because I made that bear joke in my last video?
Okay. Here is our special guest test subject and can now be defined as an inclusion. In the real world, things such as bugs and even small reptiles have been found stuck inside these hardened objects, only to be found well preserved many years later. So, how did this dude get stuck in here? Well, that's thanks to a creature known as the Death Song. A large dragon known for its strange ability to let out noises or songs that attract dragons. This animal will then spit out a liquid that hardens really quickly, trapping dragons and humans alike. Once the Death Song gets hungry, it will return to the stash of food and pick whatever it wishes. But there's an overlooked detail. The Death Song doesn't have to hurt you in order for you to die in this situation. The unlucky people who get their face hit will immediately begin to asphyxiate, since they won't be able to breathe anymore. The others would be stuck and unable to move. Claustrophobia will kick in, and your inability for your body to expand to breathe comfortably might cause you to asphyxiate as well. Not being able to eat or drink water might also be a cause of death here. But another crazy one is being in direct sunlight. Light rays penetrating this gem will cause your body to get really hot. These rocks can become more brittle as a result, but you probably won't be strong enough to break these either way. Getting stuck in this situation is a result of you wandering around this animal's territory, or just your bad taste in music. Number 7, Blinding Strike. Please excuse us for the constant display of fatalities without prior explanation. What you just saw was one of the armor wing attributes in action. This creature, as you can see, is covered from head to tail with armor. That is because this creature's corporal build has magnetic attributes covering its entire body, allowing it to attract any surrounding metal objects and adhere with so much force that these will practically weld onto the creature itself. This is due to the animal not really having any real scales, so it makes its own. To further strengthen the bond with the metal, this animal is capable of emitting an oxyacetylene flame to weld these together. This is the type of flame that people use to weld stuff. The reason why people wear these visors. The light emitted is so bright that seeing this for a few seconds could cause blindness. So, let's say you're lucky not to get hit by this flame. This thing could still blind you if you look at it. So now you're unable Able to see this animal do 1, snatch you with its jaws, or 2, launch one of the many weapons adhered to its body and finish you at range.
Wow.
Number 8, Dark Stinger.
Dark Stinger.
Okay, let's replay that again. As you can see now, we are dealing with a smaller dragon that actually looks like a raptor. This animal does not hunt alone, has a stinger on its tail, and can use neurotoxic venom. This is a speed stinger, and they don't hunt alone. These animals can thrive in packs consisting of many members following the commands of the lead speed stinger. These animals hunt at night, making it all the more difficult to see. Later, we see that these animals would have evolved to also be able to hunt during the day. These guys have stingers on the tips of their tails. Once struck, a human would promptly become paralyzed and unable to move, while the rest of the pack members tear this human apart. We must note that the effects of this venom will wear off eventually, but these animals won't sit around and wait until you're able to move again. They go for the kill. These small dragons can also run past you, inflicting deep cuts with their claws. The speed in which these make contact with your body will make these cuts all the more lethal, opening your skin like a razor through paper. This is terrifying to experience, but not even close to what this next dragon can do to you. Number 9, Skrill Kill. This slot has been reserved for one of the most powerful and feared dragons in this franchise, the Skrill. This animal's flying speeds that rival the Night Fury makes it inescapable, and even more since this thing can travel along the trails of lightning strikes. There is no doubt that this thing is more than capable of killing an entire squadron of humans, but let's find out how. This animal has metallic dorsums, which allow it to project this energy towards its vocal orifice to emit this electrified stream of energy. Our bodies are made up of at least 60% of water, which happens to be a pretty good conductor of electric currents, which is why if we get zapped with something that looks like this, we're probably going to die, for many reasons. The entry and exit points of this current will cause severe burns. The electrical current disrupts the heart's rhythm, causing cardiac arrest. This current could cause memory loss and other neurological problems. That is if you survive, and extreme levels of pain due to muscular contractions all over the body. And as a fun extra, you can also shit your pants. You see, the nervous system damage doesn't just stop at the muscular level. You will lose control of parts of your body, including your bowels. What remains is a horrible sight and a stinky mess. But there's more. This was just one method of killing. Another two include getting zapped by this animal's force field and getting bit into by those wide jaws while this thing is traveling at high speeds. It's no wonder that this creature actually stood toe-to-toe against this animal as powerful as a Night Fury. But now let's talk about this episode's dragon of colossal proportions. Number 10, Frozen to Death. You may have noticed by now that we end these episodes with a large dragon. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will finally add the terrible Bewilderbeast into the mix. Yes, these dragons are extremely massive. They can measure up to 520 feet in length and 150 feet in height. Again, like most of these dragons, there are infinite ways this thing could kill humans. But today, we'll focus on 3. Number 1, an animal this large would most likely end up killing you by accident if you get in the way. Its large hand can cover a few hundred square feet, which is too large of a surface area to avoid if it crashes down on you. 2, the tusks are also large weapons that are more likely to kill you if you get hit by them while this animal swings them. Sandwiched between ground and tusk is a pretty likely way to go if you're anywhere near this thing during combat. And finally, we must mention that this animal is aquatic. You'll run into this animal most of the time in the water, therefore its body developed certain adaptations to turn this habitat into a weapon. Its body takes water and stores it under very cold temperatures. It stays liquid thanks to the intense pressures inside this creature's body. Once it's released, the super cooled water will freeze instantly upon landing on the target. That's because the water molecules now have more space to crystallize after after being compressed for so long inside this animal. Now to you. The boring answer is that you'll die of suffocation because there isn't any room to breathe inside this ice. But let's pretend that there just so happens to be a small air pocket right in front of your face, with enough oxygen for you to breathe for a couple of hours. This is gonna suck. This rapid freezing will induce frostbite, hypothermia, and the water inside of your body, which includes most of your blood, will expand. This will cause many of your blood vessels and tissues to rupture, leading to internal bleeding and inevitable death. At least your body will be more or less decently preserved until whatever finds you later chisels you out. Episode 5 is just around the corner, the conclusion of this series. Don't miss out on it and subscribe.
E bine, ăsta a fost videoclipul. Dacă v-a plăcut, nu uitați să dați un like și ne vedem data viitoare. Pa, pa!